Hi Chem Peeps, this is the third video and final video on phase diagrams. This is a phase diagram not very specific as far as values for temperature or pressure for iodine. We're just kind of like discussing the different points that we can find on the phase diagram. So looking at this diagram, looking at question 1 up here, it says what do points A, C, and D represent? So A, you can see, is the intersection of all three phases. So A represents what we call the triple point. That's where solid, liquid, and gas all exist simultaneously. C, you can see, is going to be at the atmospheric pressure, and if we're going to answer this down here, so let's just jump down. E represents the solids, or the solid state. F represents the liquid state, and G represents the gaseous state. So going back to the question, what does C represent? Well, C is the point between solid and liquid at atmospheric pressure, and so C represents the melting point or freezing point, depending on which direction I'm not saying freezing point. Yeah, freezing point. Freezing or melting point, depending which direction you're going, either increasing temperature or decreasing temperature. And then D over here is between liquid and gas. And so we are going at atmospheric pressure. So D is going to represent the boiling point. So one thing I always want to stress to my students, this line here between A and C is between solid and liquid, and we can change phase anywhere along that. So this whole line here that between A and C is going to represent the melting or freezing of this substance iodine. So A to C is the melting or freezing, depending on whether we're increasing or decreasing temperature. Then we go to A up to point D. What does that represent? Well, we're going between liquid and gas, or gas to liquid. So that's going to be, anywhere along that line is going to be vaporization or the condensation phase change. Okay, anywhere along there. And then the next question says, what's the significance of A to B? Well, that's the interface between solid and gas. Anywhere along there, if we can change the pressure, we can change the phase from solid to gas or gas to solid. And that phase change is sublimation if we're going solid to gas, or it's going to be deposition if we're going from gas to solid. Okay, and then finally, we already labeled E, F, and G as our solid, our liquid, and our gas. I hope this helps you with phase diagrams. You can find me on YouTube and TikTok at Chem's Chem Chats, and I'll see you in the next videos.